All right, everyone, we are joined by head coach Dana Holgerson. We will go ahead and get underway with today's post-game availability, and we can lead things off with Joseph Duarte.
Hey, Dana, now that you guys get the win here, I want to get your thoughts just on, maybe the message to the team after the game of clinching a spot in the American Championship game and, what that means for the program, moving forward, all that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even mention it. It's not what our focus is right now. It's a goal. I'm proud of the guys for accomplishing their goal. We got unfinished business here before we start thinking about that. Good for the program. It's a goal that we wanted to achieve, and we've checked that off. There's still a lot of football left to be played, and our focus is going to be on Memphis. That game's big. That's a rival game and conference game, last home game, senior night. Friday night ESPN game, should have a great crowd. That's our focus here moving forward right now.
Move along to James Mueller. James?
Yeah, Dana, you've talked about him all season, but Alton today set the program record for most rushing touchdowns by a freshman. Can you just talk about just week after week, it seems like he's doing something incredible and just what he means to this football team?
Yeah, this was a run first game. We needed him. We needed tight ends. Keyshawn Carter's done for the year, unfortunately. So that's a receiver that we've been counting on. That was just starting to come into his own. Unfortunately, he has a season-ending injury. So that's another receiver that we're down. So coming into this, we wanted to focus on tight ends. We did. That's why you saw a lot of balls go to the tight ends. Between the two of them, they caught 9 balls for almost 100 yards. That was a game plan thing. And along the same lines was running the football. Weather was a little challenging. I've been a part of some windy games before. Best way to approach windy games is to ignore it. But this thing was swirling pretty good. It was the weirdest deal ever. So run first, get tight ends involved. Alton continues to impress me from, being a true freshman. The wear and tear of the season for a freshman is rare to have somebody like him that can handle that. And 10 games into it, get 21 carries coming off his best performance of the year a week ago. Pretty impressive. Didn't have a great practice on Tuesday morning. We challenged him. He had a great practice on Wednesday and played good.
We'll keep questions open here. Just ask that you use the raise your hand tool. We'll get things sent your direction, and we will pick back up with Joseph Duarte.
Dana, especially in that first half, Seth Green had a couple of big fourth down catches, and it looked like you mentioned the tight ends and getting them more involved, but to have him come in and have a type of game and then get a touchdown like that, what did that say for, a guy like that who's, has gotten some work this year, but he really, came up with some big moments today?
Yeah, he stepped up when we needed him to, just, because of what the game plan was. He knew he was going to get a lot more snaps. Tight ends, run game, northeast, cold, windy, resembled, northeast old school football. That's why we huddled a lot. I know our defense was excited about time of possession because we just sat there and tried to run the clock because it was just kind of tough early on. The best thing that we did in the first half offensively was run the clock, and then, when defense went out there, they obviously shut them down, and we played great on defense and happy with those guys with how they played. The best thing we did offensively in the first half was stay out there and convert some first downs and run some clock and then challenge the offense to come out. And I knew we'd come out and play as good as we did defensively in the second half, which we did. But then offensively, I challenged them to compete harder. And we came out in the second half and we competed harder offensively.
Was that fake punt there at the end? Was that just something you wanted to get a good look at, or just it worked out the way that situation?
Yeah, it was a game plan thing, and Donnie looked like Franco Harris out there. It was awesome. I had more fun watching that. The timing in the game probably not great, but we're getting overloaded on punt. They're putting too many people to a side. That makes his job harder in the shield. We had it the first time. We looked at it the first time we had it. The second time I didn't want to do it. We're backed up too much. So I called it off. And then the third time I was like, if it's there, do it. And it was there. And he looked like Franco Harris. I don't even know if he knows who Franco Harris is. I'm looking at him right now, but he looked great, man. The ball security was awesome. He picked his feet up. He looked like a running back, and we practice that a lot. And when people overload us, we're going to do that. So, if it was not the appropriate time to do it, I really don't care. I mean, we needed to do it to tell people, okay, keep overloading us. That's fine. We're going to fake it to Franco.
We'll continue along with Mark Berman. Mark?
Dan, you were talking about the offense in the first half, whether it was them missing tackles or y'all were breaking tackles. Y'all did a lot of that in the first half. How big was that early on?
Yeah, it's probably the best part of our offensive performance was making a miss and breaking some tackles. We didn't do a great job up front, but when we got the ball in space, we made some things happen. So that's just guys making plays. We talk about guys making plays all the time. And Seth made a big one in the first half. Christian made, I think, 2 in the first half that were that breaking tackles or making guys miss that kept the offense out there. That was important. So got a chance to make a play, you need to make a play.
Dana, you said that when you were asked about being in the title game that you didn't really mention it, but can you talk about what this says about your program, the statement y'all are making now in your third year, where you're at now with this team?
No, make no mistake. I mean, I'm proud of where we're at. I mean, like I said, that's a goal of ours before the season started. And, we wanted to be able to be in that championship game, and we're going to be in that championship game. I mean, if you looked at it, the odds of us being in it by the time this day was over was pretty high, whether it was us winning or whatever. That's fine. It doesn't change what our job is next week. It doesn't change what our job is in 2 weeks. We're just going to be thankful to be able to play a 13th game, and we'll deal with that when we have an opportunity to deal with it. Yeah, it's going to be great publicity for the University of Houston and our athletic program and our football team. We're proud of that. Proud of the guys for accomplishing that goal. My number one objective is get these guys ready to go beat Memphis.
We'll take 3 more questions. We'll send it over to James Mueller. James?
Yeah, Dana, just your assessment on kickoff coverage today. Y'all had that near fumble, didn't let them break loose. What did you feel like y'all made the right adjustments?
Yeah, we did. We just challenged them to get back to where they were the first 7 games. We were top 10 kickoff team in the first 7 games. We've been bad the last 2 weeks. I think we adjusted some things and flew down the field and got off blocks and made tackles. So it's a step in the right direction.
Send it over to Rob Sellers. Rob?
Thank you. Coach, meant to ask last week just housekeeping wise, but noticed Cole McGowan's back out there, and that's something I don't think was anticipated early on. Can you just clarify how that went down?
Yeah, he killed his rehab, and he's a 6th-year senior, and we need receivers, especially with Keyshawn going down. So he's still working his way into it. I think every game he'll get a little bit better, a little bit stronger, and a little bit more comfortable. But he killed his rehab, and he's cleared. We just got to get his legs underneath him.
And just to follow up real quick, obviously with Jake Kerslow, we've talked about him in the last few weeks, but it looked like you used him more on the edge some today because of his blocking skills, I'll assume.
Yeah, he's one of the better special teams players I've coached. It takes blocking and tackling and all around football ability to be able to do that. So we'll keep doing different things with him. We can put him inside or outside. He's very versatile.
We'll wrap things up with Joseph Duarte.
Dana, if I could just double check the Keyshawn situation, was that a practice this week, or did something happen that we didn't necessarily notice in the South Florida game?
Yeah, I hate talking about injuries, but it happened towards the end of that game. We got back home, we x-rayed some things, so he's got a foot deal.
So he's coming off.
It's long term. That's why I'm talking.
Right.
I don't talk about it unless
right.
It's long term. It's long term. He'll be done for the year.
And him coming off, one of probably his best game. You look at what some of the other guys did today, whether it's Herslow or getting Jalen Irwin involved.
Yeah.
That's sort of been what you've been looking for this year. Guys to step up. Is that just more paramount now when you have a guy down?
Absolutely. We're going to need them all. We've been avoiding that this year. It got us at a position where we really can't afford for it too. But good to see Jalen Irwin go out there and make a few plays, and Jake make a few plays. Cole's got to keep coming along, and Peyton Sawyer's got to keep coming along. So.
Thanks, Dana. Safe trip.
All right, thank you all.
Thanks, Coach. All right, we're going to continue along here with Donovan Mutin. We'll just ask you to use the raise your hand tool and we'll get things passed along your direction. And we can go ahead and lead off with Joseph Duarte.
So, Donnie, did you have enough time there to get on Google and see who Franco Harris is? Or did you?
I've been to who that was.
Okay, making sure we could. Well, you look at the roles that you play, and that's obviously not one that you do very often. What was it like, sort of taking that role for a change and setting up a touchdown there, late in the game?
I don't really look too much into that, to be honest, because we practice it multiple times a week, multiple times a day. We go through this, we drill it, we watch film over, we critique it. So this isn't nothing that felt new to me just because of how much preparation went in beforehand, So like, I've been wanting to do this, Coach, like he said, he called it off earlier. And so when I got the chance to, I was just trying to get nasty and go scope, but that didn't happen. But I don't feel too much pressure. It doesn't feel like it's out of the norm of like the roles I play in regards to that, because we do a lot of preparation beforehand, so it feels natural. It's cool.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll send it over to James Mueller.
Yeah, Donovan, I remember earlier in the season you were talking about how the outside considered y'all, little old Houston, who didn't give y'all respect. And I know y'all have more to accomplish in your final 2 regular season games. But what does this 9-game win streak, clinching a spot in the conference championship game, say about this team? And what do you want to say to just the message about what this team is all about?
The message hasn't changed. The message hasn't changed the last 2 years. We just didn't get the results that we were looking for the last 2 years because of whatever reason. But the message hasn't changed. Everybody on this team, we've come together, like I've said. We have a genuine bond and love for each other, and you can see that when we play. And so now that we're winning 9 straight, that's what's supposed to happen. That's not new. Nobody feels super we shouldn't be in this position. No, everybody expects this. Our mindset was to get to this because we know we're this good. Like I said, no one's going to give us the credit that we know we deserve and that we know that we're worth. You feel me? So when it comes to this 9-game win streak, man, this is what's supposed to happen. This is what we grinded for, sacrificed for, come together for, built a better bond for. You know what I'm saying? Jailed for. We jailed for this. We came together for this. We sacrificed for it. And so now everyone's just getting to see the results. But it feels great.
Thanks, James. We'll keep questions open here. We'll go ahead and send it over to Andy Yanez. Andy?
Hey, Donovan, can you talk a little bit about what you've seen from the secondary? They had another big game today, got 3 interceptions. Just what have you seen from that unit of the defense?
Jack boys, you know what it is with them. That's what they do. You know what I mean? Like I said, I can't really get on here and tell you something super that sounds really nice. We practice this way. We put detail into this. Coach Belk harps on things like this, and we go out every day and we try to make practice harder than the game. We try to make practice more difficult and stressful in situations in the game, and we've come to love that and just, relish in the fact that that's who we are. And so when the balls are in the air, we're trying to go get them every time. And today we came down with 3 to help our team. We set up scores. We get the offense back the ball. That's our job. Is what we do. So that's great, man. Hats off to them.
Thanks, Andy. We'll send it back to Joseph Duarte.
Donovan, you're such an upbeat guy, and I'm wondering, you've been through some of the highs, and you've also seen some of the lows since you've been here. You just hit on the, maybe the results weren't there the last 2 years, but did you guys ever feel like during those 2 years, is it a matter of just having to stick to the plan, or did you feel like the program was really down and needed something to happen, like a big jolt, or, what can you just say about getting from those 2 years to really the peak where you're at now?
To answer your question, yes. All that, yes. We felt down. We were with all the downs. We had to go with them downs, and we had to be in that moment and really just bask in it and feel what that was, feel what it's like to be at the bottom and feel what it's like to work and realize what we have to put forth to get out of that. You know what I mean? And so, like you said, I didn't just see the highs and the lows. We've seen the highs and lows together. You know what I mean? And so now that we're on this, now that we are where we are, like everyone has felt that this is where we needed to be the whole time. It's never been one time that we didn't know in the last 2, 3, whatever years, however long I've been here, that we could be this good. We could be nationally relevant. We could be the best in the conference. We could be the best in the country in multiple aspects. We always knew this. Now that it's coming together, everyone gets to see it. But the belief has always been there. It's maybe tightened up, and the camaraderie and the love for each other has tightened up also, which has got our belief that we knew. Now it's public. Now the world gets to see it, but it's always been there. Yes, sir.
Was it maybe the SMU game? Was that when maybe y'all climbed out of that hole and said, okay, this is who we really are. Or this is the team that we can be. Now everybody else is seeing it. Or was it any other time earlier this year?
I think it was after week 1. That was the biggest change we had since week 1. After week 1, we came to practice, we finished the practice, and we called the whole team of players, and we stood in the front. Me, Hassan Hippolyte, Deontay Anderson, we got in front of the whole team, and we told each other, man, we didn't come this far. We didn't sacrifice all of this just to come this far. We had one loss. Now it's time to really show the world what we're about and show each other and prove to each other every day how great we could truly be. And from that moment, we haven't skipped a beat. There's been ups and downs, peaks and valleys, but we haven't skipped a beat. I think that was the turning point. Everyone realized even from that will not define us, and we was not going to let that define us. And so since that, we've went forward, and as a result, 9-game win streak.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll keep it open if there's one more for Donnie before we let him go. All right, Donovan, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations again.
All right, thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all. I can just
All right, we will continue along with Deontay Anderson here, and we will just ask you to use the raise your hand tool for questions, and we can go ahead and lead things off with Joseph Duarte.
Hey, Deontay.
Hello.
Hey, just want to get your thoughts on you guys officially now getting a spot in the conference championship game. You've been here through some of the good times, some of the bad times, but what's that mean in that locker room to know that you guys are going to be playing for a championship?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a great feeling, man. We worked ever since January. Like I said, we worked. The job is not finished yet. Our goal is to win it. But to accomplish that, to see all the hard work and all of us come together, and and sacrifice a lot of things, man, and go through the ups and downs feels amazing.
We'll send it over to James Mueller. James.
Yeah, Deontay, Donovan just told us that despite, all the ups and downs of the past few years, the belief has always been in there that this team could reach where it is now. Can you just talk about the confidence of this team? And just, it seems like y'all have a new energy.
Yeah, it started January, the first day we got back. Our mentality, everybody's mentality totally changed. Like, everybody was early to workouts. Everybody crushed workouts. We actually asked for more after the workouts. Like, those little things, man, came a long way since January. So it's November now. I mean, to see all those things just come together and still come together to go win it, it's going to be amazing. And, we just take it game by game, step by step. We're thankful.
Thanks, James. We'll send it back to Joseph Duarte.
Deontay, along those lines, Donovan was also saying that after the Texas Tech loss, he and a couple of other guys, I believe, including yourself, got in front of the team. Was that just defense, or was that the whole team? And what do you remember what the message was at that point?
We was tired of losing. That's it. We were not losing no more. Like, we knew we shouldn't have. We should have won Texas Tech game, but we didn't. And that whole week going to Rice week, boy, everybody was they had a bad feeling, man. And our whole objective was we're not losing no more. Like, period. Like, that's it. We're not losing no more. And so far we held on to that. And we got to keep on holding to it.
Send it over to Mark Berman. Mark.
Deontay, what is it like watching the freshman running back, Alton McCaskill, doing what he's doing?
He's going to be a great player, man. I love watching him run. He's going to be an excellent player, man. Yeah, he got to be one of the best freshmen in the country. Huh? Got to. He's a great running back. not only that, but great kid too.
What about his demeanor and the way he handles himself?
Oh, he like I said, great kid. He it's like, I mean, he gonna do all those things, but you talk to him in person, it's like that don't even cross his mind. Like he's a great kid, great person. He doesn't even focus on those things, man. He's unbelievable. The sky's the limit for him. Sure.
Thanks, Mark. We'll send it to James Mueller. James?
Yeah, Deontay, I know you and Donovan are tight. What do you think of his fake punt run there?
So me and Donovan actually been having a bet the whole year because we've been practicing it for so long, but we never ran it. And so I was like, man, you got, if you run it this week, you win the bet, whatever. And so he was like, man, he told me before, like, we're about to do it. I was like, okay, we're about to see. And he did it, but I was so excited. Like, I was trying to hold myself not to go on the field to get a flag. I was so excited for him, man. Because I see him practicing every day. And I'm really so excited for
Did you think he was going to score there once he sort of broke loose?
He said once he happened, he was going to try to go score. He was almost close. I almost already had it. He broke like 5 tackles. But yeah, I'm excited for him, man. I was excited.
Thanks, James. We'll send it back to Joseph Duarte.
Deontay, when you look at kind of the first half, and there were a lot of factors out there, that look like the weather and the wind and all that. But to be, maybe in a tighter game early on than many thought, does that help you guys a little bit so that you don't get complacent with a blowout or something like that, where you kind of keep that focus that you can't take a snap off or anything?
Yeah, well, we knew coming in November that the last few games, every team will get their best shot. And so, I mean, going into halftime, obviously we wanted a better score, but it didn't happen. But the whole year, man, we've been finishing great. I really wasn't worried about that, and we don't really worry about getting complacent. But yeah, I wasn't worried about us finishing at all.
In the locker room after the game, I know there's still a lot to be, to play for and do, but did y'all kind of maybe give y'all a chance to let loose a little bit and enjoy this moment, or was it still sort of a business approach?
We enjoyed it a little bit. I'm pretty sure we'll probably enjoy it more when we get back home. But but yeah, our goal is to go win it, in all caps, win it. So like I said, we're grateful to clinch a spot, but we're going to go win it, and that's what we're going to do.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Joseph. Deontay, thanks so much for your time, and congratulations again on the victory. We will go ahead and wrap things up here. Go ahead and wrap things up here in just a second with quarterback Clayton Tune. Clayton, thanks so much for your time. We can go ahead and lead things off with James Mueller. James?
Yeah, Clayton, you've talked about tuning out all the outside noise throughout the season and just, trusting in the belief that this team had. What does it say now, 9 straight wins, clinching a spot in the conference championship?
It just shows the character of this team. We're not a team to quit and back down. We're going to continue to fight, even if our backs are against the wall, that's when we fight the hardest. That just goes to show you the character and the personality of this team. So it's great to see.
Send it over to Mark Berman. Mark?
Clayton, what is it like watching Alton, what he's doing, 18-year-old true freshman running back, having the impact he's having on your team?
It's awesome. He's a great player, explosive athlete. It makes my job easier, when he can break off runs and outrun defenders and break tackles. But it's awesome. He's such an exciting, electric player, and I'm hoping to play with him as long as I can and see what he can do. So I'm excited for him.
Is there anything right now that surprises you about him, or are you no longer surprised by anything?
No, I'm not surprised anymore. I knew he was a great player when he committed. Actually, I watched his highlights, and he had, really good high school highlights. And so, when he came down on campus, we talked for a little bit and threw with routes on air. And then I saw him run, and I knew, what type of player he was, and he's going out and proving it.
Thanks, Mark. We'll send it to Joseph Duarte.
Clayton, is it, just to wrap up on Alton, is that something you would normally do when a guy comes in, even though you haven't played with him, that you would look at his film, or was it something about that guy, maybe that position, or because it is a skill position that you kind of wanted to know what you guys were going to have?
Yeah, mainly any offensive commit we get, I like to look at their film and, see what kind of player we're getting. But I think, Alton in particular, one of the recruiting guys came up to me and they're like, hey, man, we got this kid. He's a great player, check him out. So I went and looked at his film and saw how explosive he was. And sure enough, he's doing the same thing here.
And the two guys before you, Deontay and Donovan, mentioned a moment after the Texas Tech game. I was wondering, as a team captain, you remember sort of the gathering of the team about, hey, we don't want to lose anymore. This is our moment, but we want to run the table here. Do you remember that moment and sort of what precipitated, that happening for you guys?
Yeah, I do. I remember it vividly. It was kind of, back against the wall type mentality. And so the only way to go was up. And that's what we've done. Everyone knew the potential that we had, and we knew that our goals were still in front of us, even after that loss. And so, we just put our heads down and worked, and here we are.
That would have been Rice Week. Did you see in your teammates' eyes what you wanted to see to let you know that you maybe get to this point?
Yeah, for sure. Everyone just put their head down and worked and didn't complain, and just, we had our work cut out for us, and we just went to the, working block and just worked.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll send it to James Mueller. James?
Yeah, Clayton, can you talk about what a game like this means for a guy like Seth Green, who maybe hasn't had as much, involvement in the offense, but tonight, he was leading receiver, came down with a touchdown, all that?
Yeah, it's awesome to see. He's a great player. When he transferred here, we knew that he was going to make plays, and he had a couple catches early on in the season, a couple touchdowns, and then these last few games hasn't had a whole lot. So it's been great, this game, having him catch as many balls as he did and catch a touchdown. So it's great to see. He's a great player and a great, he's got a great attitude and a great teammate.
And can you just describe also your relationship with Jake Herslow? He made another nice catch on the sideline. It seems like y'all have been clicking more and more as the season's come on, and he's taken a bigger role in the receiving corps.
Yeah, Jake's a great player. He's another great attitude guy. He's all about the team. He's never going to put himself before the team. And he's another guy that just comes in and works hard every day, doesn't complain, and does his job. So I have a lot of trust in him for sure.
Thanks, James. So we'll pass it along to Mark Berman. Mark?
Clayton Houston's in the title game for the first time in 6 years. What does this say about what Dana's doing with his program at this point?
It's awesome. We trust in him and believe in him and his vision and his plan for us, and we fully bought in. So it's awesome. We're all excited to be in this game, but we're just focused on this next practice. We're going to put this game behind us after we watch the film and focus on the next game ahead and just try and win as many games as we can. But it's it's really exciting for sure.
Pass it along to Joseph Duarte, and then we'll go ahead and wrap things up with Andy Yanez. Joseph?
Clayton, you guys have managed to avoid a lot of serious, season-ending type injuries this year. Dana mentioned, that Keyshawn will be out for the rest of the year. He was coming off of one of his, his best games. So can you kind of describe what that maybe does to the dynamic at wide receiver? You maybe needing guys now like Jake to continue what he's doing. Jalen Irwin, the big catch. They just, having somebody step up and fill that void now that you're one man down.
Yeah, you said it. Everyone's just going to have to step up. We're a little bit thinner at receiver now, but guys are going to step up, and I have faith that they're going to make plays and pick up where we left off. I'm praying for Keyshawn and his recovery. He was a great player, and like you said, he was coming off one of his best games. But the guys know that they have to step up and make plays, and I'm confident that they'll do so.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll wrap things up with Andy Yanez. Andy?
Hey, Clayton, you haven't thrown an interception since October 1st against Tulsa. I was just wondering, from your perspective, really what has kind of been allowed you to play so cleanly, and has there been anything that's changed from that point on in the season?
Just clearing up things in my head, pre-snap, post-snap, what I'm seeing, not letting the defense dictate, what I'm doing, but, see what coverage they're in, see what front they're in, and just know what routes work for certain coverages, and just being smart with the ball. It's something I've made a huge emphasis on, and I'm going to continue to do.
Thanks, Andy, and thanks everybody so much for your time. Clayton, congratulations. Just a reminder for everybody, our next media availability will be with head coach Dana Holgerson. That will be at 11 a.m. Central on Monday inside the Fertitta Center. Thank you again, and we'll visit with you all here soon.